Hi, I'm Tim Brandner. Welcome to Capitol Views, and welcome today to Representative Andrew Gray, newly elected to the State House from District 20 in Anchorage. So, Andrew, thanks for joining us today.
Oh, thanks so much for having me, Tim.
Andrew, we could start out maybe by just talking about you're new to the legislature, new to politics, new to state government. Uh, Tell us about yourself, your background, and why you got interested in this stuff.
So I moved to Alaska the first time from Texas in 1998. I had just graduated from college at the University of Texas and moved up to Anchorage without a plan. Ended up working at the Barnes and Noble on C Street in Anchorage during that time. Couldn't really make things work, so moved away, but always had my eye on how I could get back to Alaska. And ultimately, I went to physician assistant school. I was a sort of an alternative student. I did that in my 30s, and ultimately got a job at the Alaska VA, a wonderful job, the best job of my life. And I moved back up to Alaska at the beginning of 2017, where I worked as a physician assistant for the Alaska VA. It was a really fun job. I got to work in Anchorage, of course, but I also worked part-time in Wasilla. I worked in Fairbanks, worked in Juneau, and I worked in Kenai. So I got to sort of see the state while doing my job, which was great. I got involved in politics because we bought our first home in 2019. I'm in the Alaska Army National Guard, got deployed. When I got back from deployment, we elected a new mayor, and the mayor had a lot of things that he wanted to do in my particular district. I got very involved in local politics at that time, and that got me to showing up all the time. I went to all the assembly meetings, I went to all the special meetings, and the more involved I got, the more people I knew, the more I learned about the way our local government works and the way our state government works. And with redistricting, I found myself when Representative Ivy Sponholz decided not to run, I was in an open district. And it just seemed like a door had opened, and I stepped through that door.
Andrew, could you describe the district? Has it changed since
It
Representative?
has changed. Good question, Tim. So House District 20, we call it the UMed district because it includes University of Alaska Anchorage. It includes APU. It includes Providence. It includes ANMC. It extends, our southwest corner is Lake Otis and Dowling, and we extend all the way up past Betty Davis East Anchorage High School. So we have a lot of green space in our district. So although compared to some more rural districts, we're very small. For Anchorage, we're quite large because we have so much green space. We have the Campbell Creek Trail and the Chester Creek Trail in my district, and we take up a little bit more space than some of the other districts in Anchorage.
Andrew, what particular issues are you interested in? What committees are you on?
So I ran on housing. That's what I got involved with in Anchorage politics was the affordable housing shortage. And so I am very interested in housing. I am looking at ways to increase the supply of affordable housing, not only in Anchorage, but also in the interior and in rural Alaska. So that's my passionate issues. I also, we almost had a school closed down in Naka Valley in my district, and I'm very concerned about the funding of education and making sure I have a 9-year-old son. I want to make sure that he has a good public school to go to. So I want to make sure that we do everything we can so that our schools have what they need and that our teachers not only have what they need, but want to stay and work in Alaska.
Andrew, housing is an issue that never seems to quite go away. Is there anything happening that is a bit of a bright spot on that horizon, or is there any?
Yes, well, that's a great question, Tim. So what has happened in Anchorage in the last 2 years, particularly at the very lower end of the scale, where we're able to get people who have no homes into some form of home, and that what the city has done, the municipality has purchased, and with private enterprise involved as well. I'm very thankful to our nonprofit partners, is purchase hotels, older hotels, and repurpose them for housing. So in other words, people can go from not having any place to stay at all to having a room with a little kitchenette with a door that locks, with an address. And that really makes a difference for people at the lowest socioeconomic level. It gives them a way to take a shower, get a good night's sleep, so that they can do the things that they need to do to get back up on their feet. And we have several of those projects happening in Anchorage right now, and that is a huge bright spot.
Is there anything the legislature could do to help in that regard? I know Alaska Housing Finance is involved in a lot of housing things for lower income people.
Well, ultimately, what the state can do is help with funding. We have a lot of federal funding, we have a lot of local funding. The state really needs to step in and provide some funding, and there's several different avenues in which to direct that. I'll be honest. I'm meeting with folks today. I'm meeting with the Alaska Housing Authority today. I'm hosting them here today, and we're talking about the best ways to direct money to get the biggest bang for our buck, not only in our cities, but in our villages and throughout Alaska.
Well, there's a lot of work to be done. This is an issue that is very important, particularly in rural communities where professionals and troopers and public safety people, teachers need housing.
100%. I'm going to interrupt really fast and just say, a lot of people will say you can move a prefab house into rural Alaska for $185,000. But when you tack on the cost of shipping, the cost of the infrastructure, the cost of the foundation, all of these extra things, you're talking about $600,000 to $700,000. It is extraordinarily expensive to build housing in rural Alaska, and people need to understand that.
Well, Andrew, thank you very much for joining us. It's been interesting and look forward to talking with you more about these issues.
Thank you so much, Tim.
Yeah, thank you.